Hi guys, today I'm on the other side of the camera, but by now we are almost becoming regulars, so I might say, hi dudes. This HD-28 Martin, of course, is what's on my bench today, and it's got a problem. My customer called and said that the action is way too high and the intonation is totally off. And if I look at the bridge and the bridge saddle, we can see that it has been intonated, and I think it's a company up in the capital who makes these jobs. And setting the intonation on a guitar like this, they have decided upon making another bridge saddle which protrudes towards the bridge pins. So the distance for the string is a lot longer than on an actual factory made Martin guitar. The trouble here is that the neck was a lot more bowed in a concave shape, so the dip in the middle was a lot too much, way too much. What I did was to heat the neck and put it upside down with clamps and then pushing it in a convex shape instead. This is something that is quite hard to do, at least if you are considering that you can't really read a neck when it's upside down. On this guitar, I pushed the convex shape a little bit too much, and it is, as you can see on this manometer dial, what does it say? 014 plus. So it should be somewhere around 0. So it's actually going a little bit convex, which makes the notes on the first 3 or 4 frets untrue. They rattle and they don't sound very good. If there was a truss rod in this guitar, it would be very easy just to adjust it either up by the headstock, no truss rod, and if we go down here into the inside of the guitar, we can see, if we get a focus on it and a little bit more light maybe. Here we can see it want to put focus on the string instead of the neck block. But anyway, if I come in from an angle, maybe I can trick the camera. Yeah, tiny bit. Okay. So here we can see there is no truss rod on the inside either. And which makes things a lot more difficult. So what I need to do now is to reheat the neck and take out this little convex. The guitar is strung with light strings, so there could also be a different method of using medium strings that would push the neck upward and take out some of this clearance, or give it some clearance is more appropriate description. But I don't think that is a solution I want to use. I'm instead gonna take out this convex shape. When it came in, it was about 20 increments of an inch going down in a concave shape. So that was way too much, and the string height, the action was very, very high, almost like on a classical guitar, which naturally makes the intonation go out. So that was a little description of the job on this guitar, and I will get back to you once I have straightened out this convex shape. I aim at 0 or maybe some increments above 0. Stay tuned. See you later. Okay, a little update. I took out the tension from the strings. I detuned the guitar. And what I want to know by doing so is how much the neck moves from going in this tensioned mode with a tuned guitar and detuning it and see how much the neck moves. And if it was 0.14, now it is 0.23 and a half. So it actually changed about 0.10 of an inch. That is in millimeters, 2.54 tenth of a millimeter. 254 thousandths of a millimeter. Okay, so when reheating the neck, I should aim at 0.10. That is where I want to stop. Then the strings will pull the rest of that concave shape, convex shape into a fully straight neck at 0. And now my camera decided to change focus, so I also will get back into the job. Always stay in focus. Hi fellows, new day, new tasks. Today it's Wednesday and I'm working on this Martin HD-28. I started this work yesterday and it's about the neck of the guitar. Just moving this out of the way. I'm not sponsored by StewMac today, by the way. I have no sponsorship at the moment, so if you're interested to sponsor me, please write me or send me a message. So, back to the guitar. This HD-28 has no trussrod, unfortunately, but there is a reinforcement in the neck which is made by aluminium rod. So what I've done is to, adjust the neck with heat in order to get it in the right position where we need it to be for everything to be just right. Just right for the guitar, just right for the player, and how the guitar can perform together with the player. This is really, really important, considering that the guitar is a tool that you're supposed to get the most out of when you play or use this tool. So, when there is no truss rod, you have some other things to consider. And like you can see here, I've put the guitar upside down, heated the neck, put this coil in the middle of the neck to get that right position of the neck. And what I mean by right, it depends on the playing style, the action, the guitar, the neck angle, the bridge, saddle. There are a lot of factors that comes into play when we talk about the straightness of a neck. And if we're not going to make a complete neck reset on this guitar, which means we are going to take off the neck here by its joint, then I don't think that is necessary, considering that the guitar is not where it should be, but using different techniques, I can get it right in the zone where it needs to be. So this is a really, really thrilling moment to see where the neck is after it's been treated with heat, and I've pushed it down a little bit with this coil. Now you can't do this exactly like when you adjust the neck with a tool like this, where you have a truss rod and you can actually go into very, very fine detail of where to adjust the neck. That is not an option at the moment, and when I heated the neck, I couldn't either, read the neck from this side with this tool to see where it is at the moment, because here I need to make a counter action for the neck. It was going in a pretty deep dip at the middle, and that is never good. And we needed to adjust the neck to make it a lot more straight, even actually going up a little bit in a convex position for the neck. So why I'm holding this tool is I'm really, really curious to know where the neck is at the moment and what the measurement will be. So I'm going to put that back because it's a very delicate tool. I don't want to lose it or drop it on the floor. And removing the coil, taking the guitar off the bench, flipping it around, and reading the position of the neck. And I have these two coils here that raises the guitar from the bench, and now I need to have the neck here freely in the air, and as said, no truss rod, no adjustment here, no adjustment here, only the neck by itself. And ideally I look at a convex curve here in the neck that would be somewhere around 0.10. That is 0.10, that's increments of an inch. So you have to take out your calculator and see what that is. And I am at 0.15. Okay, 0.15. It's a little bit more than I like to see, but it also depends now how much the strings will pull the neck up and counteract this minor convex shape. Yeah, that's it. I'm gonna restring the guitar, tune it up, and see where it is at. If it's not right, if it is like 5 increments, 5,000 of an increments of an inch too much, then I have to consider how to deal with that. Like I said, if it was a truss rod there, none of this trouble. Okay. Okay. Okay, so the third moment of the truth. So let's see how straight the neck is in reality without any measurements. So if I push down on the string here on the first fret and on the 12th, I'm doing the exact thing as this measurement tool does, the neck relief gauge. And if I tap this string on the 6th fret, the middle one, okay, this is interesting. I need to take out the ambient sound so we hear actually what is happening here. Pushing down on the first fret on the D string and on the 12th fret, tapping on the 6th fret. Do you hear that? It's very little, but you can actually hear how the string moves down towards the top of the fret. I do the same on the high E. Here it's a little bit more obvious, but that shows me that the neck is very, very straight, but not over straight or going up in a convex shape. And the low E, same thing. That is just about how straight the neck can be without any rattles. Because when the neck goes up in a convex shape, it is uphill on these frets here, and it will not sound good when you fret the notes up from the 1st to the 4th fret. Then when you go over the hill, you come to downward. I have to pause because the phone is ringing. Okay, I'm back evaluating this HD-28, and it sounds like it's a really resonant guitar, which is nice. So straightening the neck with heat is a little bit trial and error, because you can't really adjust it exactly the way you want it, not always at the first try. But anyway, it is, as said before, a really, really important factor in a guitar setup, how straight the neck is. Because there are a couple of things that has to be right. For one, the height of the nut, super critical, that's number one. The straightness of the neck, that affects everything else. It affects the intonation, it affects the string height, foremost here, and above all, the playability, how the guitar will feel to play. Super, super connected to how straight the neck is. Can't emphasize on that too much. So when a guitar like this comes in without any truss rod, we have to deal with it in a completely different way. We can't just put tension on the truss rod to counteract the pull of the strings. You can hear that I'm getting emotional about this, because it's really, really important. So I now view the guitar and check the string height, the straightness of the neck, using this method with the string, tapping the string. Remember this counteraction of the neck, which made it go up in a convex shape, was 0.15. 0.15 thousandths of an inch. You can pull out your calculator and calculate that exact figure in millimeters. but I think it is about 3/10 of a millimeter. 3/10 of a millimeter. And that is really, really much when you adjust the neck. So if you don't have those 3/10 of a millimeter on your side, you lose. So you have to make sure that these increments is on the side where your team is playing, on your half of the field, because you want those factors within reach. So enough said about that. I will also take a measurement with this tool, and naturally it has to be zeroed correctly on a straight edge, which I did, I think it was yesterday, and it seems to be just where it was yesterday. So anyway, I'm just going to take a quick measurement. It doesn't matter much considering that this string test is what is actually what's happening in reality. This is a technical tool. It says something, but it doesn't say as much as the string would say. So this actually shows that it goes up in a convex shape 4 thousandths of an inch above zero, which would be 1/10 of a millimeter. So it's very easy to see that according to this tool, it is a little bit too straight, but when using the string, it seems to be acceptable. I have to raise up to put this back because I don't want to lose that tool. It's a good tool. So I'm just gonna retune the guitar, play through the first frets, and read the action also. So that's fine. That's also fine. So we're above the middle of the neck. So the critical part when it comes to a convex neck is these 4 first fret, I would say, 4 or 5. Good. I'm satisfied, satisfied, satisfied. I'm just gonna check the action of the guitar. This is as low as the action can get, considering we are not doing any work on the bridge saddle. We are only adjusting the neck. We also got a height up here, which I have already worked on. And if I use the same technique as fretting the string on the first fret and the 12th fret and then tapping to check how much air there is between the string and the fret, I also get this very, very tiny, tiny tap tone from the string. And that's enough. A little air there is good. And naturally on the plain strings it can be even less than on the wound strings. Okay, so just reading the action. I'm super satisfied. This is 5/64 of an inch, so that's 2 millimeters, just above 2 millimeters. And reading the bass, it is between 7/64 and 8/64. So that's actually very close to a Martin factory action. But the neck is super straight, which means that even though the bass is a little bit high here, according at least to my preferences, it's still very easy to play because, as I said before, a lot of the playability lies in how straight the neck is. So that's just about it that I had on my mind for this guitar. The bridge seems fine. This had lifted a little bit. I glued that down, and yes, it's worked on, adjusted, no neck reset, straightening the neck with heat, and taking care of the action in the nut and here by the 12th fret. And we can do one last thing, and that would be to check the intonation, because it has this elaborate method of compensating. And let's see. Seems pretty good to me. Doesn't move much up here by the tuner. Dead on. G octave. D. Hit that a little bit harder. A tiny bit low here on an open string. Acceptable. It has a tendency to go up, but we're not talking about many cents here. So the A, fine, and the low E. Also very good. You can hear how the note rests when it's correctly intonated. It sort of lands on its own platform. That's about it for my guitar philosophy today on this HD-28. It's been a pleasure to work on, and all I gotta do now is to call the customer and tell him that his guitar is ready. Thanks for watching, and also 2 things. Don't forget, if you want to sponsor me, contact me. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. Don't miss out on these feature and future lessons and reports from guitarist.nl. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.